The University of Maine announced today that the U.S. Department of Agriculture is temporarily pausing funding to the University of Maine.
The school says the funding is paused while the agency weighs whether to punish the school over perceived Title VI and Title IX violations. The university says the USDA reached out in late February to investigate compliance of Title IX and whether trans women are playing women's sports.
The school says their policies are in line with state, federal, and NCAA regulations, which do not allow for varsity student athletes assigned male at birth to compete in female sports. They add they hadn't heard anything back from the USDA until the hearing word yesterday that funding was being paused.
For decades, the school has received money from the USDA. Last year, that funding was nearly $30 million. School officials say that money supports a broad array of activities and programs.
One of those programs breeded a hugely successful potato variety called the Caribou Russet. In 2023, Hannah Yashivi got a look at how that program works.
Each one is a variety. You can see this is just a really pretty smooth skin. It's bright. In the marketplace, it would jump out on the shelf if somebody was going to buy them. It has to yield well, has to have tolerance to some of the important pests and diseases, or more stress-tolerant varieties, which can help with warming, changing climate.
Bags and bags and bags loaded with different types, colors, and sizes of potatoes.
Nowadays, the potato crop in Maine is mostly all picked by machinery. But here at the University of Maine in Presque Isle, they're hand-picking more than 250 different varieties in this research ground.
Picked one by students and part-time workers, they're labeled for grade, quality, and yield. In his early 70s, Larry Sawyer is in charge of running the tractor.
And I enjoy it. I mean, it's not hard work, it's just work that needs to be done.
Some nice looking russets again.
For 40 years, Greg Porter, born and raised in Presque Isle, has devoted his life to developing quality potatoes to make Maine even more competitive and marketable.
We've got every market class represented here, from chipping and fresh market to specialty varieties that small roadside stand growers would grow, to French fry processing varieties.
It all starts when there's still snow on the ground. Plants are cross-pollinated in greenhouses in Orono, resulting in thousands of seed potatoes that are then taken to Presque Isle for planting.
Well, let's look at some of these really pretty reds up here.
That's where Porter comes in.
This particular set has been in existence for 5 years. This is their 3rd year of field selection, and this is a critical year for them. We've tested them now in Florida.
Trying to determine if they have enough positive qualities to stay in the research program and whether they're worth the additional time and money. Only 1/3 of these 250 varieties will make the cut.
The ones that are left that look very promising will go out to commercial trials. They'll start being looked at by growers, start being looked at by our French fry processors and our chip processors. Only a few of them actually get released commercially.
And that's only if growers show an interest.
And Caribou Russet was an excellent example of that, where it looked very good in research. Growers and processors started looking at it.
And it has done very well.
Caribou Russet has been a game changer for the Maine industry, not only because it's a dual purpose, but it also does really well in dry conditions.
Don Flannery is the director for the Maine Potato Board.
The last 3 years we've seen an uptick in acres in Maine due to demand.
And that's why this research is so important.
It's valuable to me that my research is contributing to an important crop that keeps families on family farms and helps generate revenue for our state.
According to recently released numbers from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the total sales of Maine potatoes in 2021 was just a little over $200 million, an all-time high. Whatever varieties are harvested in the future, it will be people like Larry Sawyer and students at the Research Center who will do the work of developing them.
If you really enjoy a job, you never have a bad day. Every day you work. So if you don't like the job, you shouldn't be here.
all of them making sure that when it comes to Maine's potato crop, there's always room for growth.
That was Hania Shivi in 2023. The school shared a handful of other programs and activities supported by USDA funding, touching on issues like minimizing the use of PFAS, developing sustainable packaging, helping Maine's aquaculture industry, supporting 4-H programs, education and outreach to livestock farmers, and much more.